So what I had to do was grab a hammer and actually hit the mouse and kill it. And I felt bad. I felt worse hitting the mouse with a hammer than I did actually just setting the trap. Very famous one is also the trolley problem. And what this is a trolley is racing down the tracks and it's about to hit 5 people who are laying on the tracks. You are at the controls and you can switch the control and move the trolley to another track where it kills 1 person. Do you get involved and pull that switch? But within this, you should start to ask questions because variables matter. How old are these people? What is their health like? Is it 5 criminals and 1, person who gives to a whole bunch of charities or is some sort of like preschool teacher? Or is it 5 preschool teachers and 1 criminal? Does that kind of stuff matter? If it's old people or young people, these details do matter in making your decision. But there's another thing that actually determines your decision too, which is proximity to the action. Because some people who say they would pull the switch, 1 life is less valuable than 5. But if there was a big person and you could push them off a bridge and that person falls to stop the trolley, okay, same thing. You sacrifice 1 person to save 5. Fewer people will push the person than flip the switch. Well, why? It's the same outcome because they don't want to get as involved actually physically pushing someone to their death rather than pulling the switch. So the way that I explain this in class is one time I had a bunch of mice that were in my garage. So I set out traps and I was fine setting out mouse traps. I set out a mouse trap, you'd hear it click and then you go out and the mouse is dead and it's fine. Okay. But then they were getting really, really good about getting around those traps. So I got sticky traps, which is like glue traps. And sometimes the mice would get on the glue traps, they'd still be alive. Okay, once they're stuck in that glue trap. So what I had to do was grab a hammer and actually hit the mouse and kill it. And I felt bad. I felt worse hitting the mouse with a hammer than I did actually just setting the trap because I was closer to the actual death of it. If you have to exterminate mice, I am guessing that you would be more likely to set a mouse trap than you would shoot it with a pellet gun. You'd shoot it with a pellet gun, but you'd prefer to leave a mouse trap. Now, you'd also probably prefer to shoot it with a pellet gun than you would hit it with a hammer. And again, you would probably prefer to hit it with a hammer than just squeeze the mouse to death because now you're like physically touching it as opposed to using a hammer. So the closer you get to the action, the more uncomfortable you are with the action. And this can apply to all kinds of things in society, like the difference between dropping a drone attack on an enemy rather than going up and killing them with a club. We are more likely to use a long distance drone than we are a rifle. We're more likely to use a rifle than we are a club, and we're more likely to use a club than we are a bare hands in order to kill someone or end a life. So proximity absolutely matters, and the end result is actually the same, but the closer we are to it, the more we're aware of our actions. That's something to take note of as well.